If it is or if it ain't, it's going to come out. Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you are listening to God, Sex, and Love. Your daily dose of inspiration, not juice. It is December the 1st, y'all. December the 1st, 2022, and today the topic is Consider a Chain. I feel a little discombobulated because of what just happened to my life, but it's all good, man. I'm here, and I'm ready to give you all the juice. And yeah, I hope that you all had a great day yesterday. Mine was just fine. I had a little bit more time with my little guy yesterday. He was running around with me while I was running errands and everything like that. And it just was very interesting to observe things through his little mind. Like, first of all, why in the world, everywhere we go, this boy just has favor so much so where people just want to give him stuff. Now, I know my mama told me that, me and my sister was the same way. But I'm like, man, like, I'm talking about anywhere we go, they like, people want to give them something for free. They just want to give them stuff. And I'm like, I mean, I'm not opposed to him receiving whatever, but it's just very interesting. Like when we went to go get the Christmas things over the weekend, I'm in here trying to shop around or whatever, try to ball on a budget, you know how they go. And of course, he just was being his little happy-go-lucky self. And on one hand, he was helping me a little bit, but then on the other hand, he was like, being a 4-year-old. And so there's this lady that comes and she just he says hello to her and all these different things. And so she's like, I want to, and saw her this ball. And she's like, I'll get it for him. And I was like, okay, ma'am, if you want to get it for him, that's fine. And I guess she got it, but she didn't leave us the receipt. So she got it and then she gave it to us. But by the time I got ready to check out, the lady at the counter didn't remember that. And so I was like, well, we not going to buy it then. I could have just bought it, but my thing was like, he was kind of getting into some stuff. So I just was like, nah, I'm not going to buy it again. And since you don't remember it, we'll leave it here at the store. But anywho, so yeah, anywhere we go, the little boy has favor, man. So, shout out to that. Shout out to all the individuals. You know what? I feel like he brings a lot of joy to people too. Like even something as simple as like, we're at the stoplight and I noticed that he's kind of like, there's a guy on the bus, the bus driver is like playing with him. Like, cause so it just kind of like doing the whole, peekaboo type of thing. And then, the bus driver was kind of playing like peekabooing back and you know what I mean? So the little guy brings joy to people. He really do. I know at this moment I was trying to lock the windows because he knows how to roll down the windows now and whatnot. And so we was at another stoplight and he saw this man standing. He was standing outside smoking, the guy was, or whatever. And he just kind of looked, I won't say he was looking down, but, he just kind of had a look about him or whatever. And NJ was like, I want to say hi. But I had locked the window. And I was like, no. And then he just looked so sad. And I just was like, you know what? Again, this could be one of those moments where he's going to bless somebody. Or maybe just to see this little kid say hi or smile would help this guy, whoever this guy is. So I just allowed him to go ahead and, I rolled down the window for him a little bit. And he said hi. And the man, kind of was like, hi, But yeah, you just never know, like, how a smile or just interaction or whatever can just uplift someone and stuff. And I could see that, again, since NJ has been here, that's been something that he has I think it's a gift. It's a gift of his. So, yeah, I don't want to stifle that and whatnot. And so, yeah, I want him to let his little light shine. So we had some moments today. And then I guess another really cute moment that stood out was, like, he was he was talking to the son, Yeah, like he was looking up at the sun. I guess he was noticing that it was following us because wherever we drive, we can see the sun or whatever. And he was like, just having a conversation, and I responded to him because it seemed like he was talking to me at some point. He's like, I'm not talking to you. I said, oh, I'm talking to the sun. I said, okay. But yeah, so cute moments yesterday and everything like that. I was pooped by the time we got home yesterday. I don't even remember going to sleep. I remember eating. I remember telling MJ to go to bed. I remember putting him to bed, all that type of stuff. And somehow all I remember is waking up this morning. I must have woken up around 3:57. I had a little dream. I wouldn't say wacky dream, but it wasn't too wacky per se. But it was interesting. I tried to write down the things that I remembered. But by the time I looked at my clock, it said 3:58. But I know that I had woke up maybe like a minute before that, so I looked up 3:57 when I looked up the Strong's Concordance this morning, which led me to this topic of consider a chain, because that's what the two words represented: the word consider and the word other word represented chain. And so, yeah, consider a chain. And so basically, I looked up some Bible centered around that, and here we go, y'all. Here it is. Let's get into it. So, first I came across Jeremiah 40:4. It says, "Now behold, I release you today from the chains on your hands. If it seems good to you to come with me to Babylon, come, and I will look after you well. But if it seems wrong to you to come with me to Babylon, do not come. See, the whole land is before you. Go wherever you think is good and right to go." So, I mean, you guys can go deeper and read the entire account about this. I mean, it's about Jeremiah and, and all these different things. But what really stood out to me is this option, right? This option of, hey, you can come over here or you can go over there. It's your choice. Again, we are set, there's choices set before us all the time, every day. And the main choice is, again, what do you believe about Jesus? Are you going to believe Jesus is who he said he is? Or are you going to not believe and try to, live life according to what you think? Again, God has given us all the free will to make that choice and to do with it what we want to do. So in some ways, even though I know that this was, the king of Babylon, I believe, talking to Jeremiah, X, Y, and Z, but I believe that this question, again, is presented to us from God, that, hey, if you see fit to come with me, come with me. If you see fit to go the other way, go the other way. The choice is yours. And, that's what really stood out to me today. So yeah, I ended up looking some more verses up, just kind of centered around this idea. And because I looked up something in particular, but I can't remember at the moment the other phrase that got me to this. But here are some more verses. So Romans 6:16 says, "Do you not know that if you present yourselves to anyone as obedient slaves, you are slaves of the one whom you obey, either of sin, which leads to death, or of obedience, which leads to righteousness." I feel like that sounds very familiar to something that I might have read last week or, come across last week. But regardless, man, again, these are the choices here. These are the choices. Either you're going to be a slave to sin or you're going to be obedient to God, which is very interesting because, on one hand, you're thinking like one chain over another or one yoke of bondage over another. Like, people feel like following Christ is bondage. Like, they feel like, the Christ or the Christian life is, that's not presented as freedom in the world. It makes you feel like that, the things that God has set before us, the rules that are in place, the different things that, God has warned us about, which is really for our protection if we really, really think about it. Like, a lot of the sins and whatnot that we think about, there's so much, stipulation on me, blah, 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 blah. One, I think, now, I don't know if this is just me, even though I feel like there's Bibles to support this as well, but I'm just going to take it as my personal opinion here, that an observation, that there are things that we put on ourselves as bondage that God don't even put on us as bondage. Like, I'm sorry, I know people probably gonna feel away, and again, not taking away from anybody that's gonna do what they need to do, X, Y, and Z, for you and your health and X, Y, and Z. But food and all that, God has not, like, okay, there was a time that certain foods was off the table, but then now, post Christ, in the time that we live in, there's no stipulation on food, really. Now, you can do that, right? And if you can do that and limit yourself X, Y, and Z. And yeah, it behooves us to have balance, of course, but to make it a thing where it's like, oh, this is I don't know. I just feel like there's certain things or bondages that we put on ourselves that God don't even put on us, that Christ has fulfilled. Christ fulfilled it, right? And therefore now we have the freedom when it comes to certain things like that. That's just one thing. I mean, I know we can go on and on. It can go deeper and deeper. You guys can, again, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Y'all can research these verses and whatnot on your own. But yeah, I feel like there are some things that we, some bondage when it comes to being a Christian and living a Christian life that we put on ourselves. It's not that, Christ, that the Lord has put these things on us. It's we have put these things on ourselves under the religious guise. That y'all can confirm that or not. Y'all can feel like I'm being blasphemous. I don't know. I don't know how y'all feel about what I just told y'all, but from what I'm understanding and what I'm studying, that's my observation of what I feel like. So that's one thing. Then two, again, like when you're in sin, right? When you're doing things the way you think you want to do it. At least I'll just talk about me. When I was doing everything that I thought I wanted to do, how I wanted to do it, I was not at peace. I was feeling sad, depressed, like something was missing, all those different things. And now that I am, doing my best to live a Christ-centered life and trust the Lord with every aspect of my life, there are things that don't necessarily feel good all the time, but for the most part, I have peace. For the most part, I'm content. For the most part, I just can't, I can't explain the joy. You know what I mean? Like, so I much rather I prefer living for Christ and allowing Him to lead and guide my life versus the times when I was trying to lead and guide my own life. I know even before I was getting ready to go live and before I got the sense of urgency that made me kind of like try to rush and turn the camera on, this scenario was brought into my heart and mind. It's like, for me, I prefer, when it comes to the choices, right? This whole life and death choice, this whole living in sin choice versus living for Christ choice. I prefer, again, living for Christ, because at the end of the day, the only downsides to living for Christ is persecution, and that's it, really. The persecution that comes with it. And then at the end of the day, I don't have to worry about the persecution because, again, who is any other human? No other human has any place to put me, at the end of the day. When it comes to spending eternity in torment and all of that, I would much prefer living for Christ and dealing with whatever, temporary persecution that I'll go through on earth, and knowing that, I'm living a righteous life and that, the majority of my experience will be in the grace of God, I would prefer that, versus, again, living in torment here on earth, and then having to go and live in torment in eternity. Like, I mean, I don't know. Y'all can weigh it on your end and figure out what's best to you. Again, just like that question, the first verse is saying, it's like, hey, you can choose which way you want to go, which one, you feel like is good for you. But at least that when presented the options for me, I definitely prefer the Christ-filled life. Trusting in the Lord to lead and guide me. And he's been opening doors and providing and allowing me to be able to share the testimony and all these different things. So, but that's just me. Y'all can make your own decisions. Now, 1 Peter 2:16 says, live as people who are free, not using your freedom as a cover up for evil, but living as servants of God. So again, both ways you're going to be in some chains. So I guess that's where the topic comes from today. Consider the chains. Consider the two options. Which chains do you prefer? Do you prefer the chains of freedom that Christ gives? And, again, you might have to deal with some persecution, but that's only temporary. And when it comes to eternity, you're with God. Or you can live all the things you think you want to live and do now, and then live in torment for eternity. And in some ways, honestly, you living in torment here as well. Because again, at least for me, I'll just keep talking about me, because I can't, speak for everybody. And because some people love they sin, some people like, living in sin and whatnot. It was hard for me. I wasn't at peace in my mind. I wasn't at peace with my life. I was, feeling like, okay, Lord, I know you're there, and I know that there's something else you want of me and everything like that. And, yeah, and it was tormenting, and then not only that, but I know I was speaking to, a lady the other day that was sharing her testimony and whatnot, and we were kind of bonding over the fact that, there's the spiritual things as well. You'll deal with spiritual attacks and all these other things that, I don't know. If y'all comfortable with that, you want that, again, the choice is yours. God gives us the free will and the freedom to choose ye this day who you going to serve, so by all means, I'm not taking away from your freedom and I don't want you taking away from mine, so that's it, really. That is really it. I mean, that's the juice. Again, if you guys want to go deeper with the, ideas and the options of, the choices and whatnot, and what that looks like and things like that, then feel free to check out the Go Deeper section, because there's plenty of verses to peruse and let marinate on your heart, souls, and minds. But the Bible verse of today is 1 Peter 1:3. It says, blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, which according to his abundant mercy hath begotten us again unto a lively hope by the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead. Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration and juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. Are you engaged, married, separated? Friends, don't give up. Let no man separate what God has joined together, not even you. Transform your marriage and your idea of marriage today with Marriage Reignited. This program is a insightful look into marriage and what are the true needs of his and her. You guys can get a discount when you use Miracle Video or Miracle Combo. Miracle Video will get you $5 off of the video, and Miracle Combo will give you $10 off of the video and book. Check out marriagereignited.com for more information. That's MarriageReignited.com. And again, that's Miracle Video, MiraCombo, Video, or Miracle Combo, MIRACLECOMBO.